Language learning, or especially vocabulary learning, is generally believed to be the remembering of words. When our students are able to remember many words, we think they are progressing well in language learning. But most of the times, the learning of language and that of vocabulary demands more than that. Many scholars, for example, Richards and Nation, they have listed various pieces of information which are associated with the learning of words, and they believe a good learner of vocabulary items in a foreign language should be able to know these informations about a word. Let's try to look into the information which they think are relevant to the learning of various words or vocabulary items. We start with the meaning. Meaning is the most important component which is related to vocabulary learning, because if you just cram a word and do not know the meaning, it's of no use. And here we are talking primarily about the semantic meanings. It's so vital to get across the meanings quickly and clearly without any confusion. Again, if you are confused about the meaning, the knowledge of word is not that good. It needs to be sharpened further. So teachers must ensure that their students know the meaning and know them clearly and accurately. Then spoken and written forms of the same word. In some languages, it becomes very critical, especially in English language, because we see many a time the spoken and written forms, spelling and the pronunciation, they do not correspond with each other. They differ with each other. So it becomes very tough for young learners to recognize the sound by reading it in form of reading a word in form of spellings. So therefore, a teacher must focus on both written and spoken form of a word and must convey to his students any discrepancy if that is there. Morphology, a teacher should also focus on, and the learner should be able to know the morphology of the word in order to get the proper knowledge of a word or a lexical item. Morphology consists of various parts which a word carries, and it also includes various derivations which might emerge from that word. I mean, how could we formulate various words by combining that word with other lexical things? Then grammatical form and behavior is also important. A learner must be able to know to which grammatical category a word belongs to, because that would help them to understand the meaning of that word properly. He should be able to distinguish either it is noun, verb, or adjective. So this would make his job of understanding the meaning much easier. And this becomes even more crucial when there is some grammatical anomaly or some unpredictable grammatical pattern. For example, the plural of man is men. So this is quite abnormal if we look at the normal patterns of changing singular into plural in English language. So in such cases, the knowledge of grammatical form becomes even more crucial. Similarly, some uncountable nouns, plural nouns, for example, information, it remains information in plural form as well. So in such situations, the knowledge of vocabulary, such unique vocabulary items, becomes very important. Otherwise, the students or learners would not be able to understand them properly or use them properly. Collocations, the way various words in a language are used together for various uses, both in semantic and syntactic forms. In semantic, the words, when they are put together, they convey a certain meaning, and people are used to read or listen to them in order to get certain meanings. Similarly, some words are always in certain structures and not in others. So we see this relationship of collocation both in semantic and syntactic forms. For example, we can see we always say raise the hand or raise your hand when we ask somebody to ask for a question. We do not say lift your hand. So this is a collocative use of raising and hand. Registers various varieties of language according to the context of use. It's very important that people know it in order to get the genuine meaning of a word. Then style, the level of formality or informality of a word, and whether that word has a humorous, ironic, or poetic connotation, or is most frequently used in such situations or for such uses. Dialect is a geographical variation we have in relation to English language. We have Pakistani English, British, American, Australian English. They are generally considered to be various dialects of English language. So if a learner knows it, he would be able to interpret them in a proper way. Then associations between various words of similar or opposite meanings is also an important component to be known by young learners. And then connotations and polysemous words of various meanings of various lexical items are also very important. We can see that the word bachelor has a very positive meaning, one who is not married, but the word spinster has a very different connotation of the same meaning. And then different senses in which a word may be used. For example, word quiet is used in various ways in English language. Be quiet and listen. And then there could be another use. Amar is quite a young man. So in both sentences, the word quite conveys different meanings. A good user and learner of vocabulary should be able to distinguish between various meanings of the same word. Then translation, knowledge of the equivalent of a word in the native language or the mother tongue of the learners is also very important. It makes a teacher's job much easier in many contexts. Then frequency of occurrence of words in spoken or written form is very important. Some words are more common in spoken context. For example, the word indeed, by the way, while the others may be more common in written context. For example, a former, later, these are the words which we use more frequently in written forms of the use of language.